Hi, I'm David from Myriad, and this is our new single, Pentagonia. Let's go. Pentagonia, you're a puzzle. Does life ever bring you down? And what's your secret? How do you do it? How do you stop the world from turning around? How do you stop the world from turning around? Pentagonia, you're a mystery, a flower in a prairie singing do-do-do-do. You've been giving all your love, love is giving back to you. Love is giving back to you. Love is giving back to you. You're so curious, so bizarre. Do you ever feel disheartened? And what's your secret? How do you do it? How do you keep it up again and again? How do you keep it up again and again? Pentagonia, you're a mystery, a flower in a prairie singing do-do-do. You've been giving all your love, love is giving back to you. Love is giving back to you. Love is giving back to you. Pentagonia, you're a mystery, a flower in a prairie singing do-do-do-do. You've been giving all your love, love is giving back to you. Pentagonia, can you hear me when it's cold and dreary? Tell me, what do you do when you got that kind of love, you got that kind of life in you? You got that kind of life in you. You got that kind of life in you.
Right, we're here with Myriad. How you doing? Wow, David from Myriad.
Yeah, I'm David from Myriad. The boys couldn't make it, unfortunately, but they're here in spirit.
25%.
25%, that's right, yeah.
But, you know, it's alright.
Yeah,
It's the best quarter. If you're going to get a quarter of a band, you want the singer.
I mean, if Oscar was here, I'm sure he would carry everything. He would carry it. He'd have plenty to say. He would do like a Cajon cover of Pentagonia. I'm sure he would kill it.
So we have just heard Pentagonia.
Yes.
I have been practicing how to say that because I'm an idiot. It's another beautiful single.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so we actually wrote Pentagonia like 3 years ago. 4 years ago. Yeah, we wrote it like right at the end of our uni because basically OJ and Jared, obviously we did music, right? So OJ and Jared had I think it was either like a composition thing that they were doing, and they would basically use like Myriad for that. Back when we had barely started, like 2018, and it was kind of one of these songs that I think OJ wrote the lyrics, right? So when people ask me what the lyrics are about, I kind of have my own meaning. But then OJ also wrote them, so he kind of has like his own meaning. But Pentagonia is a flower, if you didn't know. Fun fact. Well, it's a flower. It's also a plant. But that's what OJ says. I just think it's cool. The song itself is.
It's gonna be really angry florists now.
Yeah, they could be like.
It's not a plant. It's a flower. No, it's a plant, not a flower.
Yeah, I think it's a plant. But
it grows in your garden.
it grows in your garden.
Possibly, we don't know. Is it a British flower?
Yeah, hopefully it's not like a weed or anything. But anyway, so we wrote it right at the end of our uni, and we played it a couple of times at a couple of shows, right? And then it kind of slipped off of our set list, right?
Yeah.
So like we would very rarely play it, and then by the time it was sort of 2019, it just wasn't on the set list. It kind of like slipped off like a lot of our other songs.
You just benched it.
Huh?
You just benched it, but was it subconsciously, or was it because you were writing new stuff as Myriad, and that kind of was maybe like it was like, oh, that was the uni song, that wasn't us.
Yeah, I think so, but it was different then to how it is now.
Yeah.
So we back then, like, I think the drummer that recorded it was actually Scott, right? Who was our first drummer, right? And that's wild because that puts a date on it. So we liked it, like, it was cool, but I think it was at the start of when we were all listening to sort of like indie music, and we were kind of really trying to make like a lot of the kind of bangers that we have now, like Cascades and stuff. We were like looking in that sort of direction, like clean sort of indie music and that. And that's what we listened to. So Pentagonia was like, oh, it's okay, but like it's not really us. But it sounded quite different then. So it sounded a bit heavier and also a bit more simple. Like, I know it's not a massive complicated song now, but it was like super bare bones and simple, like literally just chords, no extra things. Like in the recording, we've got like synths and stuff and other like BBs, right? So we actually rediscovered it 2 weeks before we did the recording of all the 3 songs. So we recorded Finding Our Way, The Joker and Pentagonia all at the same time. Like I think right at the end of last year or maybe the start of this year. So just before we were actually going to record a song called Turn It Up, which I don't know if you've heard.
You played it at the gig at Heartbreakers.
Yeah, and it's another sort of upbeat, sort of just indie song, but we weren't quite feeling it, just because it kind of sounds a bit similar to maybe some of our other songs, whereas Pentagonia I don't think does as much. But we rediscovered it, and Oscar, basically, it was the first time he played drums on it. Like, he'd never heard of the song, and we said, oh, I'm not really feeling Turn It Up. Like, do you have any other songs? And someone was like, oh, we could do like Pentagonia. We were like, we haven't played that for like 3 years, but okay. So we kind of just jammed it, and it kind of formed its own, like, a new sound, just based off like some of the things that we do. Like, for example, me with my pedal, I have like a freeze on my pedal, so I can like freeze a chord and it sounds like a synth, and I did that a bit in Pentagonia when we did it live, and we were like, actually, yeah, I really like that. And like Jared's bass changed, and we just gave it a bit more space as well. Like, a bad habit that a lot of bands, including us, do sometimes, especially live, is just playing all the time. Whereas when we played it with Oscar, like, I felt like we were like listening to each other more, so we weren't like it wasn't just a wall of sound. So yeah, that's Pentagonia.
That's really cool. I like the fact that it's an old song that you hadn't even written the lyrics for, and then you've guys kind of just evolved itself almost naturally and kind of come out at the right time.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people like it as well. We had a few people who are kind of like friends of ours who really liked it. We were like, oh, should we do Turn Up or Pentagonia? They were like, definitely Pentagonia. And we were like, okay, fair enough.
I think because out of the two, it's not the obvious anthem. A song called Turn Up, you're expecting, it's an anthem in it. That's what, I think that's where Pentagonia, you're like, okay, it's a bit more intriguing and a little bit more like captivating in that sort of sense. I think that's maybe why, at least. I mean, I've not heard Turn Up recorded, so I can't really comment. But seeing it live, I think that's why maybe people have seen it that way, which is, I think, quite a cool way of doing it. So you've been going 4 years now since Myriad started. Yeah, I think it's been even longer than that technically, because we formed in uni, but we didn't, basically for the whole of the first year, we barely even practiced. Like, so 2016 was our first year at uni, right? Okay. So we were put together as a band. Like, at the start of uni, they just go, right, you play drums, you play guitar, you sing, you play keyboard, you meet each other, and normally, like,
most bands don't carry on, so they'll be like, this doesn't work, which makes sense because it's just you do this, you do it. But we, thankfully, like, I think we gave it a bit of breathing room because like the first year we weren't like, oh, we got to like do this band thing. We just kind of played some covers and did some like Maroon 5 and some trash like that. It was actually really funny. We did Toxic by Britney Spears. I don't know if
okay, that now needs to come back into the set list.
That would be wild.
That has got to make its way back at some point.
That would be pretty wild. Imagine the scenes if we just did that. It's like, oh, we've got a new cover, and everyone's like, yeah, play something
that's
cool.
happening.
It's like Toxic by Britney Spears.
I'm sorry, everyone, even if you say that song's not cool, you get up and you dance with it. It's one of those songs you're like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're in it. You're there.
You can't get away from it.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was like basically Toxic by Britney Spears and the whole of Maroon 5 was our first year. And our second year we actually started writing some stuff. So we actually started doing kind of like uni gigs in 2017. And that's when we wrote a song called Symphony and Tate as well. Tate was our second song that we ever wrote. And then I think Home and Ocean were next. So like really old sort of Myriad songs. And then obviously 2018 we properly started as a band. That was our final year at uni. And then 2019 was our first year outside. We did some really cool gigs. We did like, Victoria's Festival, loads of festivals. Seaside in Square, that was cool.
Yep.
And then Knackle in 2020, apart from one gig which was technically sold out, but everyone was sitting down, it was reduced capacity. But it was actually really cool.
That was the George, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was actually really cool.
It was, what, 35, 40 people, wasn't it? Something like that?
Yeah. It was like, it's so annoying, because like, we got like a few like viral videos on TikTok and stuff, where we get like loads and loads of traction, and we just couldn't gig. And we put on this show, and it like, obviously, it was only like sort of 40 capacity, but it sort of sold out in just a few days, and we were like, wow, I wish we could do like a 200 capacity show, right?
Yeah.
But we couldn't. But then we did the next year, and it was like really good. We played a show with Wave Chase. 2021 we went back, sort of starting gigging. And in 2022 we kind of done a lot of shows outside Southampton. So the headline that we did was our first headline in Southampton of 2022. And then we might do a couple more bits towards the end of the year. And then in the new year, we may or may not be doing like an actual tour. So that'd be really cool.
So you're doing
that's we may or may not be doing an actual tour.
That's the code for we're doing a tour. Can't say it. Yeah. Check the socials.
Yeah, Jared's just booked it off work, so that's the final thing, which means we're literally doing this now. So yeah, come into a town or city near whoever's watching, unless you're watching in the US, in which case we're not playing there yet.
How easy is it for a band of your sort of size to do a tour?
Yeah.
Like, to actually make it, like, because it's quite expensive.
Yeah,
like, the whole
right.
being in a band, unsigned, is excessively expensive. So how easy is it to do a tour?
Yeah, so this is exactly what we were sort of talking about. Like, it's thankfully we've got a promotions company who want to do a tour with us. So they've said to us like,
okay.
So we did this show at the Fiddler's Elbow in February, I think, like start of the year, and it was really good. It was basically sold out, and it was crazy because like London's not our hometown, right?
No.
And we almost sold that show out. Like I think it was like 10 tickets away, which was wild. And they were like, we love that. Like we love what you've done with the show. We want to kind of like, do more shows with you. And we were like, cool. And a lot of promoters, could say that, but they actually said, let's actually do it. And we sort of made a sort of chat, made a group with like our management and them in, and just like us as a band. And we're like, right, what's the plan? And we basically said, let's do 5 dates. So that's what we're doing. We're doing 5 dates. That's all I can say because they're not fully booked in yet. That's why I was like, we may or may not be going, because I don't know if we are. No, we probably are. But anyway, so yeah, they're really good at like communicating, and that's a company called Live a Little Louder. And the way I think that we're going to do it is obviously make sure that as many of the costs are covered covered first. So like we need to pay petrol because we're doing like a lot of the
driving.
Yeah.
You're doing some miles.
Yeah, that's right. But obviously we're doing Southampton will be in there somewhere. So it's not like we'll be doing Edinburgh, Southampton, Manchester, London, Plymouth.
Yeah.
Right. So we're kind of just making sure all our costs are covered, and then if we need to book a hotel, which we might have to do, like we make sure those things are covered, and then anything on top of that is like a bonus or whatever. So like we're doing booking the shows first because we want to, even if it like doesn't profit for us, like we'd much rather do a tour and say break even or whatever, and play to people who we've never played to before, because obviously there's people who want to see us and they're up in like Birmingham or like in North or anywhere like Bristol. So and it's just a nice experience as well. I mean, we just get to meet everybody, and it's just like it's a bit fun. So
it's a cool thing to be able to do, to be able to do a tour. Even like you say, even if it doesn't sell out or anything like that, doesn't but it's you're doing a tour. It's kind of the next evolutionary stage with the band, isn't it? Because you've done some EPs, you've built your fan base up, especially in your hometown, Southampton. Then you've also got great social presence as well. So this is the next step on the ladder. For you guys to then take the extra move again. Further forward.
It feels pretty wild that we haven't done one yet, because I think the plan was we were gonna do like a proper sort of mini back-to-back tour like mid 2020, but obviously we couldn't do that. Like we actually had an Isle of Wight show booked because I'm from the Isle of Wight, right? So be able to bring all my friends who have never seen Myriad before.
Who would love coming across from the water is not cheap.
It's not cheap, and also it's a bit of a pain in the arse because like you got to be to sort of ferry times and stuff like that, and it's almost like getting a train to a different city at that point, even though Southampton's close to the Isle of Wight. So almost did that. Unfortunately, Isle of Wight it definitely isn't on the March maybe tour that may be happening. So.
Oh, now got a date. That March. So far, you've gone from not telling us anything to it's in March and it's 5 days.
I'm telling you all the things that aren't confirmed 100%, but are probably happening. So, but who cares?
A week in March.
Yeah, maybe a week in March. So, that's literally all I know. So, nothing else can slip out at this point.
No. So obviously, we've got the 3 recorded tracks at the moment.
Yeah.
At the end of this, there's another live track, but it's an exclusive one.
Yes, it is.
When are we going to hear? Is that part of a recorded new EP? Like, what's the deal with that, or is that still just kind of in the works at the moment?
It may be.
In March.
So, alright, the plan is we are doing another set of recordings, which is pretty cool, because obviously we haven't done any since like the start of 2022. So obviously we haven't said about any more music coming up, but we have got a recording session that we're going to be doing either towards the end of this year or in January. So I guess expect some releases after that, but in terms of Move to LA, which you'll hear later, it's probably going to be released, I think, and we've got a couple of other songs which I'm going to sort of keep under wraps because one of them is really exciting. We've actually done a collaborative writing session with somebody who's actually they're sort of friends of ours. We've actually gigged with them before, but they've gained a lot of traction recently, and they've got a really dedicated fan base.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
Hundreds of thousands of listeners on their Spotify now. So they are one of their members wrote a song with me. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, went to his house and we just wrote a song, and we were like, "Oh, this is cool," and we were like, "Actually, this could work," Other than that, we've just got a couple of other songs. We've done, basically, recently, we've done some writing with some other people as well. So you might see just some sort of collabs, which indie bands don't do enough.
No.
Like, rappers do a lot, pop artists and that. But indie bands just don't do that, which...
Or if they do, it's not kind of spoken about as much, or as obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
That people work together. So I think a lot of people do, because I know for a fact that Benjamin Francis Leftwich has written a couple of tracks with Holly Humbleston.
Yeah, that's cool.
But like that was not really announced. It's kind of it just kind of happens, and you check the footnote. You're like, oh, Benjamin Francis Leftwich. Like,
yeah, it's interesting. Like, because I think you can get like not a completely different sound, but you literally get like what we found with the songs that we've written together with other people is that it's just a mix of your two sounds. It's like you don't even have to try, it just becomes a mix of your two sort of sounds, and it's really cool. It's like, oh, what would you imagine this band crossed with this band? Well, you literally write together, and that's what comes out, unless you're like, oh, let's write this sort of song because I'm doing an album. But like, if you're an established artist, you might be like, oh, okay, so we need a pop song to be track 3 or whatever, that sort of thing. But we just say, oh, do you want to write a song? And it's like, yeah.
Doesn't naturally let it evolve.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's very exciting times, Myriad. I love the singles. I've loved every single you've released so far. You know that. Really looking forward to what comes next for you guys. But thank you very much. And do you want to introduce the next track?
Yes. Thank you, Simon. This is Move to LA by Myriad.
Touch hands with your best friend. Oh no, it started again. It won't leave me alone. All I want is to know what you're feeling. Now they're calling me labels, colors till the day falls. I wanna know what you're doing tonight. Are you alright? Or am I asking too much? Or is it not enough? I can't keep this up. But I know that you like the feeling when you got me dancing on the ceiling. We're gonna move to LA on Christmas Day. Follow the moon, or at least in my head. I think I wanna go home right now, 'cause you're making my head spin around. Looking at your photographs, time well spent. Oh no, it started again. So don't text me at all, 'cause I will fall again. I said a go, she won't be able, 'cause she's feeling unstable. My head hurts tonight, I need more sunlight. Of course her story said otherwise. She said, does another free go past yours tonight? Well, I know you like the feeling when I'm dancing on the ceiling. We're gonna move to LA on Christmas Day. Fly to the moon, or at least in my head. I think I wanna go home right now, 'cause you're making my head spin around, spin around. We're gonna move to LA. We're gonna move to LA. I think I wanna go home right now, 'cause you're making my head spin around. We're gonna move to LA. We're gonna move to LA. We're gonna move to LA on Christmas Day. Fly to the moon, or at least in my head. I think I wanna go home right now, 'cause you're making my head spin around, spin around. We're gonna move to LA. We're gonna move to LA. Yeah, I think I wanna go home right now, 'cause you're making my head spin around, spin around, spin around.
Nice. That's it.